Welcome to another episode of Let's Go to the Movies, Movie Talk. I'm Mark Laser One, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, today we're going to do a spoiler review for the movie Battalion. It's a movie that I've been trying to avoid, but can't avoid it no more. I got to be done. All right, it's a movie about a Marine battalion during the middle of a invasion, alien invasion. Okay, so getting to the opening scene. It's a B movie, and it's kind of we'll get to that. Anyway, the opening scene, with the intro, and they letting us know, this battle kind of looked like a video game. It was well done. It was a nice battle. It's a B movie, and it was nicely done to start off the battle, the movie. And then it got to a point where it said, okay, 7 months earlier. so we get taken back before the invasion, really. And we're in LA, on somebody's rooftop, on a building rooftop or something. And the main character, John, is in the middle of a football game. Rooftop football, I never heard of it before. Something nice. And his family is waiting for him back at home. So they're going back and forth. Where's John? Where's John? Well, I've been calling him all day, and he's playing rooftop football. And then we get another a flash forward. So we go from after the first part of the battle at the beginning of the movie. Okay, like we go from, I'm gonna tell you, you gotta pay attention when you watch this movie. Okay, it starts off showing you what you call real time. Then they do the flashback 7 months ago. Then they bring it back to real time. So you see John coming out of the water like he just survived a crash or something on this island, which seemed to be the main target of his unit. So you see him moving around there, doing a couple of different things. And then we flash back 7 months ago to Brooklyn. Now we're in Brooklyn, and now we see the main female character, Gleason, I do believe her name is. And Gleason is a teacher. I think she teaches at a university or something. Anyway, she was talking about the stars and the planets and all this stuff, and giving her a little seminar or whatever she was doing. And then we go back to LA, and we meet John's family. We meet Chris. Chris is his brother. He's a lieutenant in the Marines, and he seemed to have some issues, man. You ever see that movie, What's Eating Gilbert Grapes? Cause he be sitting there and he's just staring off into space and stuff, and it's like he got issues, and I can somewhat somewhat relate because I figure he probably seen some combat and it kind of messed his head up a little bit. And his wife trying, his father and mother trying to talk to him and everything. And it's like he's there, but he's not there. So there was some good acting there. It just a lot of time when we get to the family part of John and Chris, because they're two main characters, there's a lot of bad dialogue. The dialogue is bad at at the beginning. The dialogue is terrible, and some of the acting is. Whew, I'm gonna tell you, they could have left the family out of this because there was some bad acting in there. Anyway, so then they flash back to New York. I forgot. After we first see Gleason, the teacher, or we'll call Star Girl because she's astronomer or whatever. They fast forward to that battle again, and you see that her and a couple other guys, they survive, so they're on the island, and it looked like they're after something, like they're after something. So they moving forward, moving closer into the island, and it's like they searching for something. So after we get a minute of that, then they flash back to LA with Chris's family. And then after you see the family and everything, they flash back to New York, and she's on a blind date now. And she her date wants to talk about her work, what she does, the type of subjects that have to do with what she works, and she don't want to talk about it. It's like work to her. And get out the date. The date went terrible. It was terrible. Terrible date. Terrible blind date. Anyway, so hey, another flash, another going back. I'm telling you, this movie jumps around a lot. If you don't like a movie that jumps around, you are not gonna like this movie. This movie jumps around, and they jump back to the family in L.A. And we finally see John and Chris in the same room together. The brother, he comes in, and you could tell that Chris is the family man, the responsible one, the soldier, the discipline, and John is the loose cannon. He's a free willer. He's not responsible, but he's tried to be responsible, but he's not good at it. You see what I'm saying? So he's not a jerk or anything. He seems like a nice dude. He's pretty good with his dialogue. At certain points, there are certain points where it's bad, and then there's certain points when it's pretty good. So as an actor, as an individual, I think he's only gonna get better. Let me see. Getting back to where we at now. So you got a lot of this back and forth, and then we start getting this news thing where there was this attack somewhere in the world, and they saying it's like a alien invasion. And by then we would have already seen, because like I said, they keep going back and forth from 7 months ago to back to the present. So by that time we would have seen the aliens in there, but they robots, they alien robots. So that's the enemy. So after the TV reports and stuff, and Chris get a call from his commander, and he wants him to come in, and he wants to get his family taken care of first, and then John said, well, I'll take care of the family. So he's supposed to get him to the airport, and he was late, so they had to get another flight. So there was an issue there with the aliens and attacking LA. And when the girl heard the report in New York, you know, she decided that she gonna just join the military, join the Marines, and help fight in this war. So after that, after all of what happened in LA and some of the other first places that was hit, we see a couple of officers, and they talking with Chris, and this has got to be like the worst dialogue in the whole movie. The worst acted worked out. I mean, them three officers, man, man, this was terrible. It was terrible. So they telling Chris, Lieutenant, Major, what's his rank? And they wanted him to, cause he just lost his family. He lost his parents and his wife and daughter. They tell him that instead of him going to the front lines, they want him to train new recruits coming in and getting them ready, and getting them ready. So, so we see on the bus of new recruits is where Tracy and John, Gleason, Stargirl, whatever you want to call her, where she first meets John on the bus. And they talk for a minute. And you can tell there's some chemistry there. That look like that's going to be something. So you kind of want to see what's going to come out of that. And then you got, they in the barracks and everything, and they line up and they ready. And here comes the lieutenant, Chris, and he got to give his you got to give that speech to the new recruits. And I'm tell you, this was not Full Metal Jacket, okay? This was terrible. There was some terrible dialogue here, some terrible dialogue, some terrible acting. And I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the bad dialogue and most of the bad acting was when Chris was on the scene. When he was in the scene, I would tell you, man, it was hard. It was hard watching. I ain't gonna say the guy's name, I'm just saying who the character is. When Chris was on the scene, there was some hard dialogue. There was some hard acting. I mean, it was just terrible. So, they go through the training and they figured out how some of the drones operate that they was fighting against, and they was able to use a couple of them for their training. Getting the new recruits used to that. And then you had this one scene where they was where Gleason and John was having a conversation and they was pretty much giving his backstory with a little bit of his relationship with Chris, and giving her backstory to why she actually jumped at the chance to sign up and fight in the war. And like I said, man, you could tell that these two characters, I don't know how it is outside, but these two characters got some chemistry. So now you like saying, yeah, they gonna get together. They gonna, they gonna do the nasty. So yeah, they gonna get together, because you can tell that there's some chemistry there. So anyway, they go off to this battle, this real battle. They training is over. They go off to this battle, and they had to take on one of the big drones. And Some of the effects is kind of cheesy, but I mean this is a B flick, so you expect that. But some of it is pretty good. And so the drones are done well, I think. The other robot aliens need some serious work, but the drones I think is done well. The ships are done well. It's not what you would call a B plus movie. It's more like a B minus, almost a C movie as far as budget and everything. But the graphics, I think the graphics is better. Yeah, I think the graphics is pretty good. It's the graphics is pretty good. There's like I said, there's a few little you know glitches in there, a few little that don't look good. But overall, I think their graphics, their effects is pretty good. So anyway, like I said, they keep flashing from uh, what happened before they got to the island to back to when they're on the island. And back to on the island, they were showing, John, he catches up with the remaining of his unit with Chris on one side of the island, except for Gleason and the two guys that's with her. So they still somewhere on the island. So then we flash and they go back to when they was on Sydney, and it was kind of like a break in between the fighting. So they was in Australia, and there's people drinking and partying and stuff. That downtime and doing the war, and Gleason, because she got injured in that first little battle they was in. She was in the hospital in Australia because they got pushed off an island that they was fighting in the Pacific, and then they retreated to Sydney. And then when John went to see her in the hospital, at first he had to deal with some issues with his brother at the little club they was at, or the bar or whatever. He goes and see if she's all right. Everything's fine. You can tell that Chris is starting to have a meltdown because he's starting to realize they're not going to win this war, at least in his head, because they keep getting beat and keep getting pushed back and losing men and so on and so forth. So, and John hadn't gotten to that. He still, we can win this, So they had a little discussion. Then he goes see Gleason in the hospital, and they talking and everything, and so on and so forth. Then, she feel like she's ready to get back in the fight and everything, but then come to find out the aliens are pushing towards Sydney, so they had to evacuate. And then let's see. So they find themselves on another island. And there was some more fighting going on. So. And then they moved on to back to the main island of the real time. And Chris and John had a falling out, if you will, because John feel like he can go and that they can finish this mission that they're on. He can find Gleason, finish this mission, and get everything, win the war, and Chris is like, it's over, man, we through. So and he decided that well, John decided that he's just gonna go without everybody else, because everybody else, they like psh, and there was only one guy that would go with him. So they go, and like I said, he said, that they can do the mission, because they never really tell you what the mission is, but you do see where they are where they're trying to get to, because Gleason sees it first, because she's still out there, and they see the little alien base, and with the force field, and you got the aliens guarding around, and John gets a hold of one of the aliens' weapons, and they use it on one of the drones, and it works a lot better than them guns that they shooting at them. A whole lot better. So he finds Gleason. They talk for a minute, everybody's happy to see and everything, and they decide to go back to the camp. And Chris done had his last meltdown, so he got the remaining members of their unit. They shooting at John and shooting at Gleason. They shooting at his little group. Because Chris said, "Well, I told you couldn't come back," so he was shooting at him. And I said, "This dude done lost his. He done completely flipped." So, so they had their little shootout, and then Chris just started running, and John tracks him down, and they had a little confrontation. And you know what? I'm not even gonna tell you how that ended. I'm gonna let you watch that for yourself on what happened in that little confrontation at the end. But it wind up that John was still the ranking officer. So he decided that everybody, look, we're going on this mission, and we're going to defeat these aliens. We're going to complete this mission. So what they did was they went back to the alien base where the shields were, and they was able to fight their way through. By that time, they was just down to just John and Gleason, and typical, one of them had to sacrifice themselves in order to complete the mission. I'm not gonna say who. I'm gonna leave that for you to watch, because when I do these spoilers, I'm gonna tell you about it, but I'm not gonna tell you everything, so you have something to just, oh, okay. so they do went out, and like I said, I'm not gonna tell you what all happened in the final battle. And the person that survives is given an opportunity from the commanding officers of the military, or the Marines, to to basically do kind of what Chris was doing at first. Go back to the rear, and your part in this war is over, and we'll take it from here. And that person decided that they would rather be on the front lines. So the movie ends with that person headed back in the battle with a large unit, and they kind of got an idea of how to take down the enemy. Because when they destroyed the base, they destroyed a number of ships because they kind of connected to the same signal, I guess. So anyway, so that's pretty much how the movie ends. And now this movie is a mixed bag. This is a definite classic B movie, but it's a mixed bag because what it does bad, it does bad, and what it does good, it does good. There are points in this movie where the dialogue is terrible, and then there's points in the movie, parts in the movie where the dialogue is good. There's parts in the movie where the acting is terrible, and then there's parts in the movie where the acting is good. And this movie goes on like this from the beginning to the end. It's entertaining. You have to pay attention to what's going on, though. It's not one of those movies you can just let play and you can have your mind going every which way, and then you come back and you have to really sit and watch and pay attention to what's going on. I liked it. It was entertaining. I was able to overlook the bad. As far as watching it and just let it play and just let it be what it was gonna, let that movie be what that movie was meant to be. And so I don't think that this movie is gonna get any Oscar nominations for 2018, but I do say it's interesting. Like I said, the effects and I mean, there's some bad effects in there, but there's some good ones too. And you can see the A for effort for this movie. You can see that they was really trying to make a decent movie, and that's that I can appreciate. What the score I would give this movie? I would give this movie a soft double D plus. A double D plus. That's that space between a C minus and a D plus. I'll put it there. And the reason why that I would put it that high is because I can see the effort that they really try to make a good movie. You can see it, you can feel it, and it's like as you watching it, you want it to be good. You wanted this movie to be good, but you know that it's not. But it's entertaining, and I did enjoy watching it. In fact, I watched it a couple of times before I actually went back and review it. So, do I recommend you watch it? Only if you're into B movies. If you're not into B movies, don't watch this movie because you're gonna hate it. If you can enjoy B movies and you ain't got nothing else to do or nothing else to watch and you never seen it before, give it a shot. That's all I can say about the movie. Like I said, if B movies, these types of movies, not your thing, you're not gonna like it. I liked it. Will it make my top 10 movies of the year? Heck no. But I do give credit for the effort. You can really see that the actors and the people who actually put the movie together actually gave it everything they had. So, with that note, I want to thank you for tuning in. Our next movie review Well, I have to look it up. Oh, our next movie review, I think, will be Scorched Earth. And till then, you have a good one. And I'll see you at the movies. You have a great one.